What is going on, guys? Mangumson here, bringing you First Descendant video. Today, I'm going to be joined with Alphera, one of my Discord members, and we're going to be talking about the First Descendant and how things are going, right? So, I've put in, I want to say, over 600 hours in the First Descendant, and he's coming into the game, fresh new player, about 4 hours in, right? So, and I think for any new player, that's about the
Not from a
gist
lack of
that you
trying
need.
either.
That's about the gist of what a new player would need in order to get to a respectable point in the First Descendant, right? So we're going to be talking about a few things from a veteran's perspective and a new player's perspective on how the First Descendant's going. All right, Boo, take it away.
Hello everyone. About 4 hours into the game, and it's it's been an experience for sure. I can say for the most part, it does appear to have its own unique aesthetic given how far I've gotten in, but that unfortunately is about the only highlight I've had so far. It was just kind of rough getting started because we start with this weird illusion of choice, just choosing your character, and reading over the skill sets, they explain what they do, but the way that they explain it makes it seem more confusing than it should be.
The the cultured experience of the First Descendant, I guess, would be a shock coming into
Yeah,
the game.
cultured. Cultured. You make your first illusion of choice, and then I got dropped into the tower, and it was one character for the whole player base. And like
The
one or two skins specifically.
Yeah, the he came in around the game with the hot springs added into the game, so everyone's walking around in their summer's best, sun's out, cheeks out, and
Yeah.
I really don't see a lot of descendants out there with the male swimsuits on, but I guess that's just another cultured choice for first descendant players with having the 4 hours in. So how I felt with like having this much time in, again, like over 600 hours. I feel that the game is okay. You know, it's kind of like turn your brain off kind of deal. It like, how'd you feel about that with having the time in that you had?
No, actually, I feel like that's a fair way to describe it. It is a very good game to play if you don't want or need like mental interaction. Like I feel like it is a great game to go home, decompress, go to bed from. Like that's your cool down style game despite being a looter shooter, but the gunplay was okay, although I didn't find a gun that suited the way I like to play a lot of games very well. But I only played for like 4 hours, so there is that. And it had another issue, but I'm sure we'll get into that. The overall ability system is concise, but albeit a bit spaced out weird. I mean, by the time I got to where I am now, I only had access to 3 abilities. There's 4 on the HUD at all times, and it just confuses me.
Yeah,
And I
so
feel like that.
each character has like I want to say like a main ability, a defensive or support ability, and then some sort of other attack ability. And the fourth ability is probably like, I think they consider it their ultimate ability.
Interesting. Well, and then there's of course also their passives, but those don't even make sense trying to read about them. Honestly,
you keep saying like read about the stuff. You know, what's interesting now that I think about it is there's a lot of self-teaching with the game. If you don't know, you don't know. You're kind of going there blind, I guess.
yeah, it doesn't really help the new player experience either. It doesn't give you any like tooltips or anything for changing weapons and armor, how the upgrades matter, any of your stat distros. Like they all clearly matter. It's a looter shooter, but it's you're not given any instruction on why this matters, how it helps you, what it affects. You're not given a breakdown of how the individual weapons are performed, even from like an idealistic standpoint as a dev. A perfect example, to liken it to another game like Destiny 2. That game isn't very good about it, but that a scout rifle is meant for long range and an SMG is not. And I know that seems like it would be common sense going into this game, but then you have weird shit like a scout rifle and a sniper rifle having the same gun model occupying the same slot and ammo type. And so now you're just kind of sitting there with your dick in your hand going, huh?
Well, I'll say for the community that the sniper rifles don't share the same ammo as the scout rifles. The scout rifles use like impact and in special rounds, and then the sniper rifles specifically use what we would call heavy ammo, but I think it's called power ammo in the First Descendant. But I do get what you're saying, that if you've with limitedly
that's
playing,
even more confusing.
Yeah, it's so there's a weird amount of ammo types. You got the general, you got the special, you got the impact, then you have the heavy, and it can be a bit weird because I don't really see the biggest difference in having that special and impact ammo. It ain't like impact ammo is going around pushing enemies over with like big impact damage. It's not creating shockwaves. It's not really doing anything different than any other ammo type is going to do. It's kind of just there. I never really thought about that, but it doesn't really make any sense to have the different types of ammos that really don't do nothing. Yeah, differentiation. I was just like, is that a word?
Yeah, it is. No, but that's something I 100% agree with too. Like that, I got impact ammo is that weird little red icon that looks like a primary ammo, right?
I think it's green, but I don't. Some people may have the color settings different. I don't know if I'm not colorblind, but some people are, and they have colorblind turned on all the time, and then they think that that's what everyone else sees. But
fair point. I can't argue that. I'm not colorblind either, so I was just using the base color palettes. But I don't know. There's the white ammo icon, a weird orangish red icon, a green one, and a purple one. Yep. And I still do not understand the difference between the white and the orange one, because they go in the same slot and they both seem to be your quote-unquote primary weapon.
I think at this point in the game, everything's a primary weapon, given the right character. You can find an extreme amount of power ammo with some characters, and primary ammo has been increased enough to where it doesn't really, I guess, matter too much. I mean, making the ammo infinite, I don't know if it would hurt the game. I don't.
Oh, there's no way it could be. There's no way doing infinite ammo would hurt the game, especially at this point. There's so many other looter shooters where you may not have infinite ammo, but you always have a way to deal damage. First Descendant, surprisingly, did not feel like that to me. It felt like it had some things going for it, but after you ran out of one kind of ammo type or another, you really just kind of puttered for a while and hang on to whatever you had available. And that was just from the 4 hours I played with the limited amount of gameplay I had.
So so you started off not too long ago with the new update coming out and all that, and like I remember talking to you off stream, and we were talking about when you wanted to team up with me, get into the game, and I was just like, hey, if I get into the game, I'm gonna like nuke everything just by standing there, and then eventually you went off on your own, and you said you wanted a private experience in the game instead of going out there in the mission structures of the world. It's kind of like Destiny patrols with other people joining you. Like, that didn't make things easier? That it just
it did, but not in a good way. It made things 100% easier because I didn't have to fight a fucking thing. But therein lies the problem. It's really hard to build, craft, or interact with a game, or even enjoy it, if I go to get to an objective marker, 3 dudes spawn in out of nowhere because it didn't tell me I joined a public lobby, sorry. and then just they proceed to walk around and nuke everything. The objective markers are done before I get to them. The enemies are just completely non-existent. Like, I'll see red blips on the radar for half a second, and then they're gone. It was frustrating, to say the least, because it leads to a lot of, like, well, what the fuck is the point of me playing this game if I'm not going to get to enjoy it? And I know the point would then be to, like, join the community and get up to that level and then join other people and play that way, but how the fuck am I supposed to sit there and do that if I got 30 seconds of accidental gameplay during a mission and then have to sit on my hands and knees until I'm high enough level to be carried through the next big content?
You know, that does bring up a good point of when I was playing earlier today, and I was leveling up one of my underlevel characters. I had just got the newer character Inez, and I had joined a mission of harder difficulty, looking to get pulled through the mission, right? I was looking to get carried, so I kind of just petered in the back in order for that person to help me level up. So, 4 to 5 minutes of content, they speed through, I level up, so then by the time I do the next run back, I can do that for other people, like I've been doing with my Freyna and my Enzo, and all my other characters that I don't have leveled up. But usually I feel like there's a carry me problem, just to get more to the point. I feel like there's a whole, oh, I'm on your back, you're on my back thing now. We keep passing the bucket between a new player.
Someone's getting carried.
Yeah, someone's getting carried. But then when you can't, when I'm not getting, since I'm not getting carried, the person in front of me is actually waiting in mission for me to catch up, so I could probably carry them for some reason. They're maxed out level 40, and or they don't want to carry me. Maybe they got the gist, hey, this guy wants to be carried. They don't want to do it, and so now I'm hindered because I'm definitely not strong enough to do this 250 or 400% mission. So it's like bad. I guess that's the way to put it. It didn't feel good when I didn't have a big group of people carrying me for me to help me level up so I can get to having fun with this character finally. I couldn't put my first catalyst in there and reset my character or anything like that.
No, yeah, that I can see that 100%, because I didn't. This was a patrol zone. Like, I didn't even get to the part where people touted as the quote-unquote end game. I didn't get to do
Destiny
any
have
fun
that problem
missions.
too?
Yes and no. When it comes to Destiny, you'll have especially in strikes, you'll get matched with people that are way, either sweatier or skilled or whatever, but those strikes are designed in a way that can't happen. There's no level in Destiny where you're just big dicking it the whole way through, eating damage, dealing out more. Like, that doesn't until recently, I never understood the joke that the true end game of Destiny is the fashion, because to be honest, after a certain point, you're just doing GMs like normal strikes, because you're still taking damage. Like, it doesn't matter if.
Do you think? I remember, what was it? Correct me if I'm wrong. It's like the deep, when you had to go down in this mission, push these skull statues, and eventually you get to this big tormentor at the end. And
you're talking about to get Wicked Implement.
Yeah.
Yes, you're talking about the deep dives from Season of the Deep.
Season of the Deep.
Yeah, I know, yeah.
Yeah,
dude,
they hit the nail on the head with that one, right?
Didn't they? No, actually, that's a great example of a core mechanic that, one, I think they should bring back, but that's another topic. But that, like, they took a strike, turned it into an activity, and somehow made it fun again. Because, yeah, it always starts out the same, but that run is always different, whether it be the weird mods they give you. Sometimes you're not fighting the same boss, but even then, the objectives were different. Not shit that we normally had to deal with in Destiny. Kill this target, stand in this zone, and collect this item, and not always in that order. But you usually had to do 2, if not all 3 of those in one section. It was great. I walked up to a machine, I pushed it. This only happened like once or twice, so I could be a little wrong here, but bear with me. I walked up to a machine, I put the input button, on me it's E, I don't know, everyone's got their own thing. And so it started another objective marker, which at first I traveled over to, but then I wasn't told what to do. I had to just kind of sit there, again, proverbially with my dick in my hand, until I killed the right guy. Because he doesn't get a special objective marker over his head in the actual overall world area. It doesn't give you a sidebar that's like, hey, do this thing. There's no
direction.
No sense of no sense of progression, direction, or reasoning behind anything that you're doing. I think one of the missions was literally go stand in this zone, kill some dudes, pick up a ball that one of them dropped, I don't know which, and throw it at this other thing on the other side of the map from where it drops.
That makes me think about Destiny 2's older days when they were obsessed with balls. They were obsessed with balls. Jesus Christ. You pick up the balls and what are those things called? The Black Armory. Throw it at the thing. Kill the enemies. Collect the ball. Then we got orbs of light. No, we got so you had orbs of light. Then you had motes of light. Then now you just got orbs. And then we did what's the other thing with orbs? It was they got strand balls, and then they had solar balls, and they had arc balls. They just love creating balls, man. They just love it.
It's really even funnier too. They added another turret to Warlock, so now at one point with the right aspects, you can have 3 different balls all at the same time.
They just want you covered in balls.
They do. They fucking do. They want you to feel like you've got that big dick energy without actually giving it to you.
So, needless to say that to me the first Descendant is a me type of game. I do like the fan service and the way that they go about it. I consider myself a cultured gentleman amongst the group, but I mean, when is too much, man. I mean, these are beautiful young ladies. These are handsome gentlemen out there. Everyone's ripped up, everyone's toned, everyone's tanned. I don't see the issue. Everyone keeps talking about it. They call these people gooners now.
That alone is hilarious. I guess to answer your question, to again liken it to, they're both looter shooters, so I can't help but compare it to one that I have a dickload of hours into, being Destiny. But this also actually even applies to another one that comes to mind, being Borderlands.
Okay.
And honestly, Borderlands is going to make the better point, but it does apply to Destiny. In Borderlands, you have a wide variety of characters and character designs, some of which I find flat out just gorgeous. Perfect example, in Borderlands 3, the character I played as was Amara. I did not choose her for her looks, but wasn't a bad point either.
This is because she had 4 arms and she could do multiple things with all those arms, right?
8, but no. 8, but no. The big thing was honestly her skill set intrigued me, and it was a character type that I hadn't chosen in Borderlands 2, being the Siren class, because I chose the Gunzerker, because of course I did. It emphasizes you using shotguns at close range without letting off the trigger. Sign me up. Like, that was a really easy sell. But the thing about like Amara is she has incredibly thick thighs, nice toned abdomen, a nice chest. Like, she's a beautiful character. Couple of her outfits are a little on the skimpier side given to compare to what else you can see in Borderlands, but it's still also somehow conservative a little bit. I guess sorry, that got off topic. My point that I was going to make though is that there's such a disparity between the way those characters progress that there's no reason for you to just go over the thirst option because it makes your gameplay that much more enjoyable. Whereas doing the First Descendant, that hasn't been my experience. I know I got a little bit off topic there, but I feel like a lot of people choose the female with the skimpy fucking swimsuit because there's
That's what
no...
sells.
Well, yes, but... Yes, there's slight differences in how their abilities work, but even reading them from the first choice, like reading how they work, I didn't understand why I'm choosing between a barricade, an ice shackle, and a grenade. Why are those separate? Like, and yes, like, that kind of seems like it's countering my point, being that there's clearly diversity. That's the issue, though, is that if there's not enough reason to pick the diverse option, you're then left with two things: what everyone else is running, or whatever appeals to you the most. I feel like, unfortunately, those two overlap in this one because, open titties.
Yeah, I mean, I mean that. I guess we could say that. I mean, I haven't checked it yet, but maybe I'll pull it up here on screen during the discussion. But there's probably more people playing Borderlands 3 right now on Steam than there are people playing the First Descendant. I guess the First Descendant is, technically, in gamer terms, it is dying. It is. I think it's got like 9,000 people on. Currently, I think everyone else is playing anything else. I think a lot of people have returned back to Destiny 2. I think the Destiny 2 refugees went over to the First Descendant, came back, and was just like, whoa, okay. There's a lot of things going on over there.
Well,
it's like walking into the wrong room.
Yeah. Actually, it's really funny that you bring up that point, because at the peak of my frustration in that 4-hour experience, I actually directly made the comment. I'm like, if you're tired of being frustrated with D2, give this shit a shot for like 10 minutes. I promise that'll get fixed. And it 100% did. Since then, I have a much newer appreciation for, albeit a frustrating game most of the time because of its bugs, glitches, and general unpreparedness. But despite all of that, as a new player, I feel like, and admittedly, I haven't played as a new player in many years, but the core systems haven't changed, just the top end of it has. Your build crafting's gotten better, your strikes have gotten harder, your raids have gotten more complex and intricate, but not overly so. Like, it, as a new player and as an endgame player, it's really the same thing, just whether or not you have the updated gear you need.
In Destiny 2? Specifically?
In Destiny, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm sorry. And then contrary to what was going on in the First Descendant, I swapped weapons in that 4-hour period because I wanted to find out which weapons I like. There was no need to.
Yeah, a bunch of samey, bullet, gun go pew, it's
exactly.
There's no real feel of man, if this gun had less recoil, if this gun had more ammo. It's not. You're looking for enemy health bar go down, damage go up, guns go pew pew, and then I go to the next thing. Yeah, I can see that. Yeah. When Destiny 2 players, I'm a Destiny 2 player myself. If I know when someone directly gets the palindrome versus Ace of Spades, and you're just like, and you talk to any regular Destiny 2 player, is those guns are worlds different, vastly different, and archetype wise, feel wise, range, combative ability, not to mention one's an exotic and one's not an exotic, but even outside of that, what it brings to the table as far as diversity between a normal weapon and a weapon that will go in the designated special slot. So it seems like the First Descendant has a normal, special, and heavy setup. Like that's what they thought they were doing, but then it kind of just gets muddled together as you got guns. You got
guns. Yes, dude. Yeah, it feels like they built a system for the gameplay of Destiny with the loot flow of Borderlands and failed in both ways. That's that's how that feels.
Hurts my soul to hear it. Hurts my soul to hear it.
Well,
hold on real quick.
It's like I was saying. No, you're good.
Well, my wife is walking by and this is gonna catch her on camera and it's gonna disrupt the video. So I gotta make sure I put enough in there to cut that out. So before we jump back into it. Are you going by again? Okay. Okay. Like you were saying, Boo?
No, but that's actually, I know that hurts to hear, being that that they tried to make it the gameplay style of Destiny with the loot flow of Borderlands and failed at both. But having played both those games and then trying to compare this one to literally anything like it, it just doesn't satisfy. Like the gunplay is same. I didn't feel the difference between an SMG and an auto rifle, even at range. It's a gun. It fires faster or slower, and that's about it. Fucking the frequency of loot was sure more than you get in Destiny, but somehow worse than it is in Borderlands, because at least the common shit you get in Borderlands feels better to use randomly.
Oof.
Yeah. Perfect example. First time I played the Borderlands 3 campaign, there's a mission you do and you get a Jacobs sniper rifle. This thing looks goofy as fuck, and it was my favorite weapon I'd use in the game. It was a white tier. This was commonplace. It was worse than everything else I had on my arsenal at that time. Not even what I was using, just in the inventory. It was the worst gun by far for every other conceivable metric. But it felt so fucking good as a weapon.
I really hearing you talk about Borderlands 3. I never really played Borderlands 3 like that. Ain't that the one with all the? Wasn't Borderlands 3 made for the modern gamer? I want to say it had like YouTubers or something doing voice dialogues.
Very well might have, but I don't entirely know. I played it as a looter shooter experience. I played it to play it with my friends. I guess, could you give me another example of a modern style game, so to speak?
Modern style game would be more like what's the game that Concord is a modern game.
You mean the one that died after 2 days?
Yeah, the one that died after 2 days. That one.
I didn't even get to try it, dude. That thing was dead before I knew about it.
Yeah, that game was made for modern audiences. It had a lot of nuances in it, a lot of diverse characters and casts, and spoke messages to people that I don't think needed social messaging on what's right and wrong in the world of, that big and black people and
I like to call games like that YouTuber games, because they're very easy for YouTubers to make content of any kind about. Lore videos, gameplay videos, discussion videos, things like that. They're just kind of a mixed bag of chicanery for you to just pull whatever you need to out of the game so it sells.
Well, I guess that didn't work out too well for Concord, since it did not sell.
It died.
I mean, even with Borderlands 2 being what I would consider, I guess, a modern game, the Concord experience is a whole nother topic for a whole nother day. But okay, so just to round things out, so the new player experience wasn't there for you, nah? It wasn't good, I'm guessing.
Dude, that's the most frustrating bit too, actually. I'm so sorry to cut you off, but you're right, it wasn't there. But I saw that it could be. like if they improved either the weapon differentiation or the like rarity being more impactful, one of the two, that would be a bit better. And then they just need to system and make their characters much more unique than just your variety of defense, offense, and annoying. I feel like that's two things that I could say need to change. Sorry to cut you off.
No, good. I mean, we're talking here, just trying to figure out what's hot and what's not. Maybe I got Stockholm syndrome. I feel like that maybe Destiny 2 burned me so much, and then I went to the First Descendant, found a new home. Even though it wasn't great, it was where I was at, and it just kept me around. I do a lot of microtransactions. I'm a whale, and I used to do all that in Destiny 2, and then the First Descendant came out, and then I wasn't spending current money in Destiny 2 anymore, so I had to hit that vice, and then they came out with swimsuits, and I was just like, whoa, okay.
I feel like that's not the case at all. I don't think it's really Stockholm syndrome. I think the issue is that I got into the game too late with no new player experience, if that makes sense.
So they're not good. I don't think I could imagine what it would be like to be a new player in this environment now. There's so many game modes and so many things going on, you wouldn't even know where to start.
No, because not even the icons in the tower to progress the story is very clear. I made 6 pit stops per flag. I don't know why I was there. A couple of them, they were like, cool, talk to this guy. I talked to them. They gave me a random bullshit voice line of like, hi, I do this thing at the tower. Doesn't explain their vendor role at all. And then they send me on my fucking way. Like, no side quests for them, no inventory showing. They're just like, come back later. We'll have something for you. I'm like, well, that's not helpful.
And the fan service is too much. It's just like, do you wish you could have turned it off for yourself, I guess, if that was an option, that you could mute the people who have it turned on and just not see them at all, I suppose. If you're not,
I don't need it to all go away. I just feel like it was a bit much. But I guess to give you an example, when I loaded into the tower area, or the social hub, whatever it's called, I didn't catch that. There were roughly 40 people just in the first 5 meters of my spawn point. Way populated, looked healthy for, a new player to see an active server like that. The problem, there was me and one other character that had more than that string bikini of clothing. Everyone else was just tits out summer fun bullshit. And it's literally 98% of the player base that I saw, just as passive people, this included in the open world too, that's what blew me away. It was just titties. Only titties. And don't get me wrong, I'm pro nudity 100%. Like, I belong in a nudist colony levels of comfortable. But I'm playing a looter shooter, man. If I'm looking for loot, I have a whole other list of play. I came here to shoot guns at aliens, I think. I don't know what they are. They're some kind of weird alien dimensional cyborg, I guess.
We don't talk about that because we don't know what they are either. They exist, we kill them. We don't talk about that.
Right. I'm here to shoot guns at the enemy, clear objectives, and get loot. And don't get me wrong, the occasional nip slip is fine, but that was just obsessive because at that point, I walked into a family diner looking for like a grilled cheese and tomato soup, and I found a strip club. And it's labeled family diner. I'm very confused. Like, how is the family there? Well, never mind. I'm sure I could figure that one out. But
so the First Descendant needs to get their new player experience rounded out. I hear that they definitely need to fix that. I think on their timeline that they have that planned out somewhere later in this year. I feel like you're saying, just it's almost a little too late. The games performance is going downhill. The new player experience isn't there. People who are playing it are playing it, and it's I guess for you that'd be two big thumbs down.
Yeah, I can see the seeds of something that they tried to make, and I could really see it being not only a good game, but genuine honesty. I really could see it being a great game that I'd give up Destiny for. There's just certain things that they have to drill into the game to make it better for a new player, because the grappling hook and some of the movement tech was fan-fucking-tastic. I was so delighted to have like an actual first-person shooter with like, or sorry, not first-person, third-person shooter with like actual guns and shit, like actively working. The way that the gameplay presented itself to me as a new player looked basically like the Separate Ways DLC for Resident Evil 4. I know, a bit of a tangent, but in Resident Evil, it's a third-person shooter action RPG.
Mm-hmm.
In Separate Ways, you play as Ada Wong, who has a grapple gun, and that shit is just so fucking fun as gameplay. It increases your melee range. I'm getting off topic, sorry. The movement tech in the First Descendant is definitely unique and great at that. But with the gunplay being so same, no differentiation between the weapons, no clear objectives, no clear progression, no real reason to play outside of unlocking apparently one character to let the tits out, like, it's... something is missing. It's like I built a gingerbread house with no sugar or icing. It's just bread and good bone works. But there's nothing holding it together.
Yeah, so good bones, but hopefully it'll get there. I mean, it took Warframe a while to get there too, but I guess we'll talk about that in the next one. Comparing this, we'll compare it to, I feel like a more relatable game to that is I'd say the Division 2. Maybe we can dive into that next time. And then, so I do want to thank you for joining me today. Hopefully we end up doing this again with, talking about the First Descendant, talking about video games in this new podcast structured format that we got going on here on Mangumson's channel. Boo will be joining me for more of these discussions in the future. If you like what Boo is talking about, go ahead and leave that comment in the comment section below. If you like what I'm talking about, go ahead and let me know. If you don't like what any of us are talking about, let us know about that too. Hit the thumbs up button if you do like it. Hit the thumbs down button if you didn't care for it. And we will see you in the next one.
See ya, everybody.